communication with families, with children, with their grown-ups at home, whoever those grown-ups might be. If we have we need to be communicating with them all the time. It's very difficult. It's very time consuming. One of the things that I appreciate about having kind of that open platform that we have, we call it's EDSB that we use, where we use it as our communication with parents for messaging, notices that go home, student assignments can go on there. All of their assessments are in a grade book there. The onus gets put onto the parents to spend some time checking their kids' progress. It makes it easier for us because when it comes to be report card time, there's not going to be any surprises for the parents if they've been checking on how their students are doing. So I mean, we're always putting in those marks. We're always putting in the formative assessment, which is just like we got our observations and those kinds of things. We're not looking to change a mark necessarily at the end of the year. A lot of our assessments now are formative, which means they go in, they do not change the end grade, but we can definitely see how they've done on different assignments and different outcomes. We need to be really transparent with our home and school communication. I like to, when my kids and I co-construct a rubric or write a list of expectations, that automatically gets posted onto EDSB, and the parents get a note that says, this is what your kid's working on. Here's what we're working on for assessment. This is what it needs to look like. The other thing that they can do, the other thing I do is with pre-assessments, finding out where they're at, saying to the parents, we have a math program right now called Math Up, and there are pages called Sum It Up. And those pages are simply pages that explain what the unit's about and what the students will need to be able to do. Those get sent home as well. So the parents need to, or the families, the grown-ups need to be kept in the loop as to what you're teaching. They need to be kept in the loop as to how their student is succeeding. That can look like a lot of different ways. Good news phone calls. It can look like notes. It can look like marks. But for the most part, parents need to be taking responsibility for looking at their kids' progress on EDSB. Communication with parents also needs to be very clear about what assessment looks like now. Parents think, well, I went to school. This is what it looked like for me. This is what I expect it looks like now. But the thing is that education has changed so much. Assessment practices have changed so much that we need to be really clear to the parents that, yeah, I put in this formative assessment because I walked around and talked to the kids. That mark is as valid as the test that you would have written in grade 6. So explaining to the parents at the beginning what your assessment practices are, and hopefully, I know our school, we work really hard to be consistent. When we have collab meetings, we talk about what that looks like, so that parents are never trying to figure out what exactly is an ME. What does that mean in my kid's world? Commenting on assignments, making sure you're putting those comments on is really important. My kids, when I hand things back to the students, I don't put their marks on the assignments. I never ever put anything like 6 out of 10 or whatever. It basically, if I put something on there, it will be meeting or approaching to how they're doing the assignment. Many things that we do in elementary school for assessment, we always have that extended thinking, the EX, the extra, the bonus. A lot of people think, okay, that's an A, and my kids all have to get, they have to get an EX. EX is a hard mark to catch, because unless you're able to take what you've learned, that you were able to meet the outcome and extend that to something that's more complex or more life related, it's a hard thing to do. Multiplication, if you give your kids 10 multiplication facts, the best mark they can get is an ME, because if they give you the right answer, they gave you the right answer. They can't go beyond that with multiplication questions. So being really honest with the parents about what they should expect. So many parents put so much pressure on their kids to get that EX because they think that's an A. It's not how we assess anymore. And I have all the big thoughts about having that EX or that level 4, even as an assessment practice. But just being really transparent so that the parents know what to expect. And it makes it a lot easier on you too, so that when you're handing out an assignment, you're not getting the phone calls or the messages. My kid got an ME. They got EXs all last year. Why are they only getting an ME now? So if you're very clear about those practices and communicate those with the grown-ups, you'll be much more successful. But like I said, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how they show you what they know. It's just that they do show you what they know.